Further ado, I would like to introduce our beautiful mentor, the lady who speaks from her heart and teaches us and supports all of us. I'd like to welcome Joanne Faith Boruck.
I try to use that other one, but my hands have a voice of their own. The title of my talk is Sacred and Gentle. Yeah. Am I a little loud or am I okay? Okay. Good morning, beautiful. Oh, thanks so much. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Red Deer. And please join me now as I speak these words of affirmation for me and all those who claim it as their truth this day. With great gratitude, I declare and know there is only one, creative power, universal intelligence, divine spirit. In, around, and through everything and everyone, it flows to, through, and from me and you as us. In each moment, I make myself aware of how I am showing up in the world. And I ask, am I showing up as power, intelligence, divinity? And I adjust my consciousness to be all that I want to be. This beautiful day, this morning, I make a choice to embrace the sacredness that comes from being gentle with myself and others, and with the whole world. The power of strength and the strength of gentleness brings calm and peace into my heart. And those who connect with it feel this peace. As with deep gratitude, I let my word go into the all-knowing one, where everything I speak is acted upon, returned to me, complete, multiplied, overflowing, and loving. And together we say, and so it is. In this space of quietness and connection with the oneness of universal spirit, let us hold in our hearts all those that we wish to know that they are loved and they are whole. Today, I hold my family and my friends, and Colton and Brian. Thank you. So gentleness, being gentle with ourselves, is just like we said for the Sunday school kids. It's giving ourselves permission to not be perfect. It's giving ourselves permission to know we're doing the very best we can, because nothing is more important than gentleness. And nothing is as strong as being gentle with yourself. Giant gentleness. That is an amazing phrase just together. You know, we talk about doing things gently, but when we do it giantly and gently, oh, what a world we're creating. So I challenge you to strengthen your gentleness muscles. The affirmation that the kids said, I am gentle with myself and others. And I added, and I hold my world sacred. So let's say that together. I am gentle with myself and others. And I hold my world sacred. So you guys know me, and I like to read a whole bunch of books when I'm researching, and I even like to look at the Bible to see, because Ernest Holmes took a lot of phrases from the Bible, he expanded on them. And how can we use that in our life, in our metaphysical life, in our spiritual life? And I found Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. It says, therefore, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, because it says, as God's chosen people. I think we're all chosen. I think God lives inside of us. Goes on to say, we're holy and dearly loved. Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. I didn't know that was in there. But when I looked, I'm telling you, these weeks that I write these talks, something inside me shifts. And when Janice says that I speak from the heart, sometimes I cry, and I know it's because I'm really passionate about what I believe in. So we've been working on gentleness this month. And the first time I talked about being gentle with ourselves and others through mirror work. Because everybody in your life is just a reflection of who you are, good, bad, and the ugly. And you're a reflection of them and who they are. So I'm not saying, that when you see somebody doing something really terrible, that you're really terrible. What I'm saying is there's something inside you that recognizes that. So if you can just turn that mirror around, send them love, and we're going to work on that today. We're going to hold the world in the palm of our hands and send it love. So we are all mirrors. But, being gentle with ourselves and others doesn't stop there. It is a global problem that we get to solve. I love that Ernest Holmes says, everything in our life, everything we want is already planted within. And it's our job to find it. In the Bible it says, you never get anything you can't handle. That really ticked me off. How could that be? And so I liked when Ernest Holmes said, the answer's inside of you. So if you just be still and know, you'll find the answer. Okay. Great. So this is also Earth Day. One of my favorite singers, her name is Jennifer Barazan. And she does this song called Returning. So I'm going to put on some music in the background. And we'll see how it goes. Is it too loud? And I listened to this as I was writing my talk. I wanted to tell you I had this amazing experience with gentleness. And it was about 30 years ago. I used to go to the Buddhist temple in Edmonton, not on a Sunday, but I'd go during the week because they'd have peace talks. And, then I was like, I'm not giving up my Sundays for anybody or anything. So I go on a Thursday night. So sometimes I'd go by myself, and sometimes I'd go with others. And they had these peace talks, these Buddhist monks. And the first introduction I had to peace really was their speaking, their language. They talk in musical, lyrical languages like blah, la, la, la. And it was just so grounding. And I have to tell you, the other part of this is there was no chairs. We had to sit on the floor. So that was 30 years ago, and I didn't have so much trouble getting up as I do now. But we sat on the floor, grounded into the building we were in. And this Buddhist monk would talk about peace. And on the side of the stage, of course, there's a translator, a Canadian translator. Well, let me tell you, when he translated what the Buddhist was saying, it lost all of its joy. It was so matter of fact and so, I would almost say, crude. And it really made me think about how important our language is. And when we talk to somebody, the voice that we're using. And I know I've told you before that other languages have so many words that mean the same thing. Like Greek language has 11 different words for love. And maybe we need to embrace some of that. What are the different ways we can express gentleness, kindness, compassion, understanding, forgiveness? Maybe those could all be gentleness. So that was one experience of the gentleness of the human voice. But as I was sitting on that cushion for hours, it seemed like, I often sat beside this same Buddhist. He was practicing to become a Buddhist. And my back was sore and I was fidgeting. And he put his hands on my back and he kept saying to me, be gentle with your body. Be gentle with your body. And as he did that, I felt such a deep sense of warmth and healing. Just filled my body. And as I was going, I sat with him a few more times and I learned that he was a Buddhist Reiki master. So we started talking and I took my first 2 levels of Reiki from this Buddhist master. And so I've carried that with me for a long time, and I'm really blessed to be able to do Reiki healing in a gentle, compassionate way. So this month, I want you to think about the things that show up in your world as gentleness and treat them sacred. I think it's easy to be gentle with each other and our world when we put that sacred word in. I wanted to look up and see what sacred means. Reverend Tress, what do you think sacred means?
I think it means something different to each person. But sacred is something individual, but it's something you cannot trade for or anything. It's one of the highest moments in your life. If you have a sacred moment, it will change your life forever, and you will never, ever forget it. And you will realize that you are one with all that is, and nothing can stop the greatness of who you are. To me, that's sacred.
Wow. Sacred. It's everything. It's all of it. It's holy. So, as we expand our awareness of gentleness, I said that it's not just us and you, it's a global thing. And the 3 things that came to mind that we need to start being gentle with are, these are bad words, politics, social media, and our community. The community we live in, the community we practice in, this community, our cities and towns. So those are the 3 things I thought. As we move outside of ourselves, what are the greatest things we can be gentle and hold sacred that we can make a difference in the world? One of them is coming here. And as I was writing this, I thought, how blessed are we to have this place to come and listen to this kind of information and to find a bridge between us and everybody else. Where else would you go to get that? You never would. You would have to pay thousands of dollars, take lots of workshops. I mean, lots of people offer pieces of what we offer as a complete whole every Sunday. So I want you to hold this place sacred and treat it with gentleness. Because right now, things are so indecisive. I think it's the most indecisive time in my life and in human history. And it just feels like we're inundated with opinions and media and politics. But the fundamental of science of mind, this teaching, is there's only love. And love is the essence of gentleness. Ernest Holmes says in Science of Mind, the universe does not rest on the shoulders of love. Love is the cornerstone of life. So there's only love everywhere, in everywhere, and this is the essence of who we are. Therefore, it's the very lives we live, what we bring focus back to. Through our practice, we shine love out into the world. Like I said, 3 things come to mind when I think of our community. It includes politics, social media, and who and what we are. And if you use love as your guide, in those three things will change the world. And apply it liberally. Sacredness. Apply it to everything you think about. All the circumstances, all the situations. Because through the lens of love, you open yourself to experiencing something different. To experiencing more than you ever have before. And I think that's the only way we can muddle our way through the world right now. Is through love of ourselves, love of others, and love of the whole thing. I mean, everything has a rotten apple in it. Even the bag I bought from Co-op. But I took that out. The rest of the apples are great. And I just can look at that bag of apples and love it so much. Through the lens of love. So if you let love support you and navigate your life, in these things outside of yourself, because those three things, social media, politics, and your community, are the things you have no control over. The only thing you have your control over is how you respond to those things. And we don't want to get caught in the cracks of blame and shame and all that. Just make peace with it. And send it love. And hold it sacred. Well, I don't want to go too much into politics. Because there's a lot of great opinions. I'm getting like the evil eye out there. I'm just looking at Lena. She's not giving me the evil eye. And the next one is social media. Wow, talk about distraction. Distraction. But there's good things in social media. Isn't it so great to look online and see whose birthday it is so you can tell them happy birthday? Or personally, I like to see my grandkids and see what they're doing. And I do tell my son, I don't want to hear about your life on social media. So whenever he sends me a picture or a text, I know it's going on social media. But we can treat that with gentleness too. And sacredness, because there's sacredness in that. There's a lot of great things. Sometimes people say to me, I get a lot of crappy stuff on social media. And I said, really? I only get positive affirmations. So if you're getting something that's not positive, there's this little button up there that says, hide, block. So do that. And only you get to decide if social media is quality time or a waste of time. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is our community. The villages we live in, the cities we live in, this center. Because individuals make up your community. All those people living in those houses make up that community you live in. All the people sitting in the chairs make up this community that we belong to. And everybody has a story. Everything has an energy. Wouldn't it be nice if this energy just went with us everywhere we go? And it can, because it lives right here. So it doesn't matter if it's your work environment you're working with, the spiritual community, or your neighborhood. I think maybe everything's a mirror. Because what we see is what we are. And the sad thing about community, which really isn't sad because you can do it. When you think about a community, a village you live in, or this spiritual community, sometimes when you're looking at a community, you think, I don't belong to anything. I don't belong to that community, and I don't belong to this community. But guess what? You can change that. So we don't need to feel any conflict. And so I talked today about cultivating gentle sacredness. But I have to tell you, cultivating is not creating. We're not creating gentleness. We're not creating sacredness because it's already there. It's in the person you meet on the street. It's in your friends and your relationships. We're cultivating what's already there. And you want to know when we're not creating gentleness is when you're hitting all the red lights. I read this autobiography by, I always get them mixed up. He was in Cheers. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson. He wrote this book called Green Light. And I thought, what does that mean? Do you know what it means? He was so spiritual. He said green light means when everything is for your greatest and highest good, you hit all the green lights. So when you're going through life and you're going through town, you're hitting all the green lights, you're doing something right. And it's the same thing in your life. If you're hitting red lights, something's telling you to stop. And more important, if you're hitting orange lights, it's not like when you're in the car and it means speed up before it turns red. Usually means slow down because there's a message for you. And I was just really moved by this Colossians 3:12 that said, clothe yourself in compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Thank you. Those are the two I mix up. Don't they look alike? Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey? No, is there? Thank you, Tammy. Matthew McConaughey. Did you read that book too? But you knew. Okay, sorry, Woody. You're more my age, maybe. So I have this idea I want to share with you. And you know, it's not the events in our lives that create us. It's how we treat the events in our lives. So with this in mind, I want to invite you to participate in a small activity with me. I want us to bring our world, our communities, our political system, our social media, and I want you, let's first imagine the world. And let's hold our hands out. And I want you to imagine you're gathering, pushing all the things in our world that we want to send healing to, all the people, all the countries, all the wars. Just push them into a small, small ball. And as you look into your hands, you notice that they've transformed into a light. It's just a light. And it's the whole world. And just look at them with the eyes of love and sacredness. Wow, the world. We all share one world. It's a thing we have in common. So I hold the world in the palm of my hands and I send it love. And now just think about how different it feels. First, you take all of the problems of the world and you just turn them into light and fill it with love. And inside this ball, you might have to open your hands again and take all the social media, political judgment, opinions, distractions, push them all together, all those words, distracted, opinionated, wrong, right, put them all into a ball. They're just words. Hold them in your hand. And they turn to light and send them love. Then I ask you again to bring to mind everybody in this room, everybody who's watching online. David and Tress, Sindel and Carmen, Edith and Donna, Julie and Janice, Gail and Dawn, Lena and Maurice, Tammy and Braylon, Adrian, Juliet, Wendy and Joyce, Ruth and Arnold, Joanne and Russ. To bring them all together into the palms of our hand and allow them to be transformed into light. And send them love. And notice if a lightness just comes over you. And now I ask you to bring yourself into the palms of your hands, whether you visualize a picture of yourself, your whole self, your name. Send it love. And surround it with love because you are sacred. Jennifer Barazan says, we're returning to the mother of us all, Mother Earth. Thank you. And you can do this anytime something's really bothering you, somebody's really bugging you. Put them into your hands and just make them light. You know the same things we all crave in this world is love and belonging. I can make you feel like you belong. I can tell you I love you. But only you can do it for yourself. And if we all do it for others, what a great world this is. So today, I affirm and know that we can and do treat ourselves and the world with sacredness, with giant gentleness. That's what's mine to do, and that's what's yours to do. And together, we can and do change the world. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your gentleness. I thank you for holding me sacred and holding each other sacred. Because wow, what a blessing if you could see my goosebumps, knowing how much love was transmitted in this room today. And I say thank you. I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace and love Boruck, and I wish you a blessed day and a blessed week.